Welcome back to Quake Pro League Week 18, where we cut it close. I'm 40 Lions, joined by Lethal. And up next, we have Sib versus Chain.
Yes, we certainly do indeed. As Chain now, we know how well he progresses in an offline setting and the crazy placements he has. We know he's not too formidable in terms of the Pro League regular season, but it always comes out smashing it, as he always does in an offline setting. But we'll have to see in how that goes, of course, in just a couple weeks' time. But going back to this matchup, for Sib, we know he's behind in points. We know that Psychic was able to get that map win earlier, but also has a series win more underneath his belt. So if Sib is able to take this 2-1, he can overtake Psychic, but this is for 14th or 15th seed, and it depends how much they worry about what group they're going to be placed in on day one at QuakeCon, as we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, going to be a whole bunch of things as we take a look at the track record from Sib. It is a little brutal. Just a little bit. There's a couple map victories in there, though. So, but, you know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is the land setting QuakeCon 2-ish weeks away. And that's what we can focus on and what the players should be focusing on. This one is a bit of a formality. Not a lot of leaderboard changes will occur. Both players want to get a dub to end the season, of course. But in the grand scheme of things, nothing really matters, so why even try? But Chain, as you said, excels on LAN. We've seen him get top 6 a lot. So the online portion, although not his favorite, I'm sure, as we take a look at the Sea of Grey, he can pop off on LAN. We've seen him do it. But again, online, being able to win and finish out the season with a dub, not going to hurt. So both these players going into this knowing that, I'm sure. And yeah, the track record, a little rough for Chain too, which I don't think we're used to seeing this kind of Chain. Usually a little bit better, a little more 50%-ish, maybe 60, yeah, I don't know, in terms of win-loss. But yeah, it's a little brutal for both players. I would say not normally for Chain.
Yeah, and you probably noticed as well that Sib has taken, even though he's only won one series the entire regular season, he's taken a lot of maps. Like, he's taken 9, but he's taken a lot of his maps off some of the top dogs around in the Quake Pro League, which is definitely better than he would normally do. He's just not been able to close out a lot of his series, which is a bit unfortunate. But for Chano, he's got nothing to play for apart from using this match just to kind of prepare going into QuakeCon. But for Sib, though, if he takes this 2-1, then he will overtake Psygib to get 14th instead of 15th. But this is what these two are going to be playing for so far.
I think we have the pick bands ready. We can kind of see what we have in store for this series. Deep Embrace, Awoken Blood coming in. It looks like Ranger versus Anarchy to start us off. A little bit of Nyx versus Slash on Awoken. And then rounding it out with Sorlag versus Visor. Lethal, how do you feel about this matchup?
Two things stick out to mind straight away. The Slash on Awoken, I'm not too sure how familiar Chain is with the Slash on Awoken, but we'll see how that goes against the Nyx. I probably favour the Nyx pick coming out from Sib. And the Sorlag as well. It's, again, not something we normally see on Blood Covenant, but against the Visor and how he's going to try and approach some of his items if he loses control, it's going to be quite rough to a certain point. Of course, he does have that mobility, but I don't think that's going to do him any massive favours here. So it's kind of very back and forth. I kind of feel like Chain has the advantage on that third map in terms of picks, but for Chain, depending on how he makes the Slash work on Awoken, I'm not really a big fan of it, but again, he could make it work. But the problem is, though, I'm seeing Chain on the Slash a lot, even in particular on the Awoken, of course, but kind of feel like Sib will have the advantage on map number 2. But map 1's anyone's guess here, going into Deep Embrace with that Athena ban.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stands out most is I like the respect bans from both players. Obviously, taking Clutch out of Sib's hands, don't want to deal with that, but also Sib taking Athena out of Chain's hands because Chain has been playing a lot of Athena. So I dig that level of respect from both players. And going into this, it should be interesting to see exactly how both players approach this. I do like the Ranger on Deep Embrace just because of the Dire Orb a little bit better than I do like the speed and inject of Anarchy. But at the end of the day, nothing matters that I say. So predictions, Lethal, what do you think?
For once, I actually don't know. I would say I would give Chain the edge, but the problem is Sib, because he's clawed some maps of some of his top players, he could really put a spanner in the works in terms of how he can topple Chain to a certain point. It depends how much Chain has been practicing in terms of his recent form as well. And you know, I've only seen Sib stream a couple of times over the last couple of weeks in terms of his performance and how he's trying to progress. So it really could go either way. Honestly, it really could. I would probably say Chain this time round, but it wouldn't surprise me if Sib was able to take this either. I think we'd know by map number 2 like how things are going to dictate between the two.
In terms of like gauntlet kills, do you see any of those on the board?
Well, we could. We could see something a little bit spicy. Never know.
All right, I'm into that. We're going to load up the players here shortly. Chat, as just making sure everything is sorted before we get into the first map. But yeah, I think Deep Embrace. Again, it's hard to kind of fight against a Ranger. I know that Anarchy is very fast, just like whatever that was. Yeah, very fast play, and the inject is good. You have the ability to play towards the heavy more than the mega, given that inject. But I just think the versatility of the Dire Orb and Ranger in general, with a passive of rocket jumping and taking less self-damage, is just so huge, especially on a map like Deep Embrace, where there's multi-levels, you want to get all over the place. You can do so fast and almost cut off an Anarchy. I think the edge has to go to Ranger, I feel like. Map number 2, though, like the Slash that you said, maybe that's just an I don't really care anymore, let me try stuff pick.
Yeah.
Because it's not often that you see it. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's just not common.
No, it's definitely not common at all. But that's why I was saying it could be 2-1 either side. I kind of feel like Sib can take map number 2 with the Nyx and then may lose with the Sorlag, but it's whoever's going to take map number 1, isn't it? This is going to be the prime example of how this series could play out. Of course, it doesn't always go by champion picks, but you are right, though, with the Slash. It could be something which he just wants to test out a little bit just to see what works, what doesn't work, or maybe it's just doing it for the giggles. Not really too sure. It's like we saw with Sirius with the clutch. He mainly done that just to not only take it away from Strong Sage, but just to make people assume or maybe have a rough gander or think that he may just randomly pop it out in terms of his champion pool. But for this one, it's I'm not really too sure what he's actually gaining from this going into the second map. But the Sorlag, we never, very, very, very rarely see or ever see really going into Blood Covenant. He had other options, of course, but decided to go for that anyway. But we'll see if that's going to work in any way, shape or form. But I just feel like he's going to be in a really hard place and it'll be a tall order if he does lose full item control and has to consistently go on that recovery process.
Yes, and we are entering Chat Pro League right now as we're waiting on one of the players to get situated and ready. So you're just going to have to deal with it, chat. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. We'll get the players ready and we'll get the game started soon, though. So, hope you got snacks and drinks.
I hope so, because we've still got a couple of series left to go here, especially with Rafa Nosfer afterwards. My goodness. But yeah, it's just it's just really weird picks. I suppose we will get a lot of these weird picks on the final couple of weeks. If only got one much left to play, or there's nothing more really to gain, we may see some crazy picks. We've seen it a lot from Strong Sage actually quite early on, and we've kind of just got used to it now in terms of the picks he normally brings out. But for this one, yeah, it's very odd, but makes things a little bit more interesting. You never know.
Yeah, so I heard the player get into the lobby. We're going to start spinning it up. But, Lethal, I have a very important question for you. What are you going to cosplay at QuakeCon?
I could maybe cosplay as the Anarchy or something. I'll just bring a hoverboard or something. Don't know if that works. A backward hat,
I would
maybe.
love to see you in a mohawk.
I was going to say, I haven't got the mohawk, but the skin he uses with the baseball cap, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
An armless hoodie, ripped jeans, living back into the days when I was 17, 18, maybe.
Sure, I'm into that. Or we could both do a Sorlag situation. We could both do a Sorlag. You be the top, I'll be the bottom, Chat's going to have a field day with that audio clip.
Imagination running wild.
Yeah, for the costume. All right, we're going to get into this one here shortly. Map number 1, again, going to be Deep Embrace Ranger versus Anarchy. So it feels like it's been a long day, but it hasn't, so I don't know.
I don't know. For me, it's gone quite quick, actually, but I'm quite quick at a lot of things. So.
Well, God bless. After this one, we got a featured match 1 for today to end Quake Pro League regulation season. That'll be Rafa versus Nosfa. Wheat will join us for that and hopefully get our lives together. But for this one, we got this Chain versus Sib coming up shortly. I swear we're loading up here soon. I heard it with my ears.
Praying for dear life.
Yeah, just get me out of here. I feel fine. This is fine. This is good. It's good practice for LAN too.
It is, and we're starting. We keep misbehaving, so we need our father in crime to actually put us straight because it's just absolutely
my
awful,
phone is blowing up with 04 messaging me. It's great. All right, here we go. We got some Quake. We did it, chat. Thanks for hanging in there. Appreciate you very much. Sib versus Chain live right now. Week 18 of the Quake Pro League on Deep Embrace.
Certainly is. Kicking things off from Sib's perspective. Let's see exactly what he's going to be up to. pick up the heavy, the rail, looking for the LG and rockets momentarily. It's just got a good read on him. Knew that he was going to pop back up momentarily. That tri-bolt is going to give him the information he requires in order to decide on what routes he wants to take next. As Mega's up in 7. And Sib just doing a good job, just applying a lot of pressure onto Chain here. Chain's actually backing away to pick up the rail and go towards that Mega. Heavy is still up, but looks like he's going to delay it a little bit. Good rail from both these players. Good
Just
damage
missing
there.
out on that rail angle. Yeah, great damage from Sib, though. Denying those health bubbles, and there's the rocket. Right inside Chain's pocket. Sib up 1 early on this one. Here's the jump pad, but no major item for about 10 seconds. So it's just a matter of what Sib wants to do with this advantage. A little bit of rocket jump. Looks like he wants to maintain control over the heavy. Probably a great idea given, again, Anarchy has the inject. So Mega kind of whatever. As an Anarchy, you want to prioritize armor. Does slide through to grab that light. But also with this huge delay, Sib is going to be able to attack the next Mega. So I like what Sib's doing here to start off Deep Embrace.
Yeah, been liking it so far, but he's tanked a lot of damage from that last man of LG, but good rocket in retaliation from Sib. Can be retained back around. Still has the orb. Inject has been used by Chain. But this is still looking pretty damn good for Sib as Chain needs to try and look for some chip if he can, but you can see a good rocket using that orb to try and get a little bit closer to finish things off. Not going to be a trade as Sib barely survives on 6 HP. Picking up that heavy and now still trying to recover from that previous engagement. But as you can see, Chain is just literally plus forward into him, gets him with the LG. Great stuff from Chain now to kind of cushion himself a little bit further as he's now going to try and contest this Mega's actually decided to back away instead now, Forty.
Yeah, a bit of a sloppy push there, but made it work. Sib kind of, it almost seemed like got caught off guard as he thought he was upper. A little bit of rocket damage through the grate, make that huge damage, and should be able to melt it, and he does before the double bubbles are picked up, and now forcing the spawn, looking for the initial rail, just missing it. But knows where Sib is, knows the timing, and can cut this off as Sib doesn't really have any weapons to work with. There's the cutoff through the murder. Old Dire Orb is used, and now it's just Dire straights. And Chain able to get that frag with 33 HP, but he has a Mega to work with, has the timing on the heavy as well, should be able to get back in time to defend it. Sib gets denied with the rail. Good rockets from underneath to at least keep some chip damage up, but Chain looking to take over the map right now.
Yeah, Chain has been performing really well over the last minute into this game. Mega's up in 5. Does have the inject, but Sib will also have that orb ready and waiting. Good LG, good rocket straight afterwards. This could be a couple of seconds now, and there we have it. Chain making that
I
his
don't
full
think that's
frag.
what he wanted to do with that Dire Orb. I think popped a little early.
Okay.
No! Sync error with a devious smile on his face wherever he is, for sure.
Yeah, the amount of cheeky grins he's probably had every time that's happened. At least a few hundred by now.
It's got to feel good because he's like, I did that. That was me.
I made that happen and I made you frustrated.
Shout sync error. Legend. 5-2. This should be big damage. Huge rocket initially from Chain. A little bit more Sib actually with the fake out. Gets away with it. Grabs the 2 health bubbles. Chain missing with the rail. And now the Mega's up. So Sib does get an item. Nice defensive rail as well. Staying alive. No armor. But Chain maintaining high ground. Wants to make sure that he has good positioning for this next heavy. Has inject as well. Ooh, big rocket. Good return damage as well. Is Chain going to use the inject? Holding on to it, grabbing a health bubble instead before he makes his way over to the heavy. And there it is. A little bit of insurance before the jump over, and a great LG to rail combo there from Chain.
Yeah, Chain going from that 2 frag deficit and now letting things spiral out of control a little bit here. Decent rocket, mind you. Backing away once again. Mega is up. It's been up for a few seconds, but Sib's picked that up. As you can see, Chain's still trying to recover. Has picked up the light, but he's okay now. He's in a good spot. So you can back away again, get prepared for this heavy, which is coming up in 10. And see if he can put a little bit of pressure onto Sib before he approaches this heavy. But he's got the information he needs. A bit of tribal action there from both players, but the problem is he comes in with the orb, but the heavy's already been picked up. Looking for that initial rail, but not going to happen now with that inject. Trying to stop him before he goes for the mega. A little bit early, but in the end, it does mean that Chain will be able to come out on top. 7-2 now, past halfway stage.
And I like that jump pad play. He was just looking for the initial rail off the spawn, but is it going to cost him as he's a little bit delayed getting back to the heavy? Sib takes advantage of the rail angle. Chain opting for the lower light. Sib missing with a follow-up rail as he's backing up, trying to get through the telly to get to the heavy. There's the rocket jump cut off, and he had to do that to grab it, and Chain still outputting so much damage and getting the frag. Those fantastic shots from Chain right there.
Chain in full force here in this first map. Has picked up the mega. Heavy's up in 10. How creative is Chain going to be this time? It's just going to buy this time. Seems like trying to finish with that heavy machine gun, but Chain needs to be a little bit careful. Good read with that rocket, but Sid doesn't go into it, sadly. Directly underneath him, trying to get that rocket through the stairs, but tags himself instead. But we've got just over 3.5 minutes left. Currently 8-2, just replenish his rocket ammo count. Have heavy up in 12.
I see.
And again, as an Anarchy, Chain is completely content with playing towards heavy side of the map, has the inject as his pocket mega. There's the dire orb to steal away the heavy, and a big damage coming out from Sib on this one. 41 HP from Chain, trying to fight from below, gets a little bit of rocket splash, almost gets the rail on the exit. But more importantly, Chain's staying alive. He is weak. The Tri-Ball just jumping over it, gets a rail on the way to Mega. Can he make this work? Gets stuck on the murder hole. The water balloons, 2 HP, and then there's the LG, finally. He was just peppering him.
Certainly was, dearie me. 3 minutes left, though. Sib does have a chance to come back in this, but it's going to be very tough. Has picked up the heavy. Look and see what he can do with his rockets, but he's gone straight through the TP as Sib is just going to continue on the low ground as he prepares for this next mega. But a lot of his frags need to be clean for him to create those chain of frags if he can. Does have the orb to help himself a little bit further, but looks like Chain's doing a good job, just doing a little bit of damage, but also wasting more of Sib's time as he's just waiting for this next heavy. And Chain just, again, just throwing out some of his audio cues, but keep himself out of position and out of harm's way. And Sandy Sib to tag himself is going in with the orb, but good rockets coming out from Chain. Now 9-3. That could be the final nail in the coffin for this map.
Really nice defensive rockets from Chain as Sib knew that he wanted to take advantage. Had positioning, technically using the dire orb to just get up close and personal, and Chain just read it well. Good defensive rockets. Now for the last less than 2 minutes, I mean, up 6, he just has to play pretty decent defense. Can't fully let off the gas, but that's a free heavy and a rail as well, and that might be it right there. Minute 30, 7 frags. Good LG off the spawn as well. Into a rail. Sib with the rocket jump to try and get out of there. Almost mistimed in terms of a health stack. But yeah, Chain with a good solid map number 1.
Yeah, he seemed a lot more fluid. His aim skill was good. He adapted well. He seemed to be able to take charge with the item control. Everything just seemed to really go in his favor, and prepped the heavy on so many occasions very, very early, just to give himself a bit of time to prepare himself. Good rail again from Chain, but damage has already been done. 11-3, trying to make it 12. Almost said 13 for some weird reason. That's nice counting from me. Sometimes I can count past 11, but depends what day it is, really. Oh, the rail again from Chain.
Sib delays the spawn, actually spawns behind Chain, but Chain realizes now, and Sib doing a little dance, and Chain making a little love with his gauntlet. Oh, buddy. No items for you. But this one's done and dusted. I mean, 14-3, maybe a little bit more on the way out. Why not?
Yeah, go on, why not? Through the stairs, almost. Gonna try and tag him again. No, 10 seconds. All done here. And you can see 17 items for Sib. 18 for Chain, but it's all about the damage, really. Nearly 2,000 more damage for Chain throughout the entirety of that map.
More importantly, we did see a gauntlet kill, which I brought up
Yes.
earlier. So just saying, if I were to lock in predictions, I'd be a very Twitch-rich person right now. But yes, Chain takes map number 1, makes it look relatively easy. And yeah, I don't think it was any glaring issues, really. I think Chain just kind of, from the start, had pretty good positioning, good item splits. Sib had a couple moments of brilliance there. Good plays with the Dire Orb to steal heavy. But overall, the game plan seemed pretty straightforward from Chain. I'm going to play towards heavy. I'm going to use that inject. If I feel comfortable to push and steal a Mega, why not? But as an Anarchy, you don't really have to worry about it too much if you have the inject in your pocket.
Yeah, this is it. It was a little bit of a mess at the beginning. I thought Sib did really well with those first 2 frags and trying to initiate control, but Chain just, again, as I mentioned earlier, looks super fluid, always had that high advantage, preparing himself for the heavy very early, and I can understand that because he probably felt like he needed to prepare for the heavy a little bit earlier in case, of course, using that Dire Orb to come in and steal it, which, as you mentioned, did happen once or twice. But yeah, good stuff. You can see is also 57% accuracy with the rail, 43% with the LG to complement that further. Now I can control relatively the same, only 1 or 2 difference between the two, and nearly 2,000 more damage for Chain. This is the Chain we want to see, and I think he probably feels the same. A nice 2-1 or 3-0 victory here for Chain will give him a nice bit of a confidence booster, shall we say, to, you know, vibe into QuakeCon feeling just fantastic. As we go into Woken now, which is a question mark for me in terms of champion picks with the Nyx versus Slash. Of course, I think a lot of people would say go for the Nyx for the Awoken, but we'll see what Chain can do. Just having a bit of a laugh, isn't he, really, Chain, with the Slash, and to see what he can, how he will perform.
Yeah, video games are about fun and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're really gonna get into Awoken here shortly, and it's gonna be Nyx versus Slash, as you mentioned. Slash not really the most obvious pick for Awoken, but who cares? Very excited to see exactly how Chain approaches this one. Great LG and Rail on the previous map against Sib. Sib's damage was just not there. Hopefully he could turn it around on this one, but we'll see. We'll see. 2 lights going at it on Awoken should be fun, and we'll see if Sync puts up another one.
Yeah, I'm sure he will at some point. He loves it.
He's hoping. He's hoping. He's always ready to hit the button. I saw him in chat. He even said it himself. It's like, don't make me press the button. I will. So
Where's our
everyone's on
caster
notice
button?
now.
Unbelievable. I was just thinking, actually, I wonder if Chain actually did a 5,000 IQ play and decided to select a Slash so that Sib couldn't use it on Blood Covenant.
Maybe.
I could be
don't
just
know.
making
Or maybe
things
he's
up.
just like, you know what, I'm going to try this. I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'll believe you.
It could be that. I believe that one more than what I just said. Unbelievable.
I think we're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Map number 2.
Games.
Video games. We're doing it, chat. Another beautiful Saturday for Quake. Sib versus Chain. Map number 2 is live. You're starting off on Sib, and he's going to grab that Mega. Make his way over to the T-Con. Okay, never mind. Tactical rerouting through sewer. Takes a rail early. Needs to be careful.
I think Sib was having a conversation with himself there about what just happened, but
Yeah.
Chain already up 2-0 with the Slash, and it's just Just fabulous from his part so far. 30 seconds in. Let's see what Sib can do in terms of his adaptation.
What do you think the pep talk is exactly? That's not how you start the map, Sib. You're right, other Sib. I agree. Let's try and get it together.
I don't know. Maybe just having a thought-provoking discussion with himself about what could have been done.
It's true.
Like a serious political debate.
Always reviewing, always trying to come up with better strategies. As 2 minutes in, Chain is up 2, hitting a great rail.
Oh, heavy up in 2. As you can see, Chain ready and waiting. And just to pick that up without too much hassle. He's expecting Sib to go for that TP, which he did, sadly with that missed rocket. As I kind of feel like this map's already gone a lot longer than it should have been. It's waiting to see if Sib's going to go through that choke point, which he has not as of yet. Mega will be up first. Good try bolt there from Chain. Looking to see if he's going to continue to pursue, which he does not.
Free rail there for Chain, looking for another one after the mega pickup. Ooh, I like this deny from Chain, but he takes so much damage for it. Able to grab the light in the health bubble using the snail trail. Forcing Sib to pop the ghost walk. Both players stacking back up off what they can. Items, again, very, very close. Chain knows that Mega's slightly after, so he might push this, especially after that rail. But it's really up to him as he has the stack advantage right now. And Sib able to snag another Mega. But Chain, you can feel it. If he gets this frag again, what the
was that?
hell
What
was
was
that? I
that?
told you, Sync can press the button whenever he wants. And Sib comes out on top after 75 rails were shot. It's fine, nothing to see here. 1-2. Sib looking to take the lead. Decent rocket there. That's actually going to knock Chain off on his path to rail.
Oh, dear me. I've actually never seen that before, so I was quite,
I
was
love
quite
it.
impressed.
When it happens, it's really a treat. I love it. It's big fan.
Why doesn't it happen to
It
me?
looks like 4th of July, and as an American, we appreciate that, Lethal. You may not, but that's fine. We can talk about that offline. 2-1 Chain
offline
hurting
job
right now.
Offline job, but absolutely. What a rail from Sib to tie things
Gorgeous.
up. Gorgeous and lovely.
Beautiful. Oh, the cheeks.
Yeah, that was beautiful. He's backing away again, picks up the heavy. This is looking much better from Sib compared to what we've seen in the first map here. His rail's a little bit more on point. See if it continues here.
Oh, what a rail.
It's just punishing just continuously here. Heavy's going to be up, though. So is the Mega, but Sib's going to prioritise the Mega anyhow. Does have that Ghost Walk, catches him as he could go in with that LG belt, but Sib will probably lose this one. He realises this in terms of the stack, so he's back to way. With that Ghost Walk, but he's been trapped once again, which does mean that Chain, even though he's very weak, does have that window of opportunity to catch him before he clocks up the hourglasses for that Ghost Walk once again, but still in that recovery process. Will be for a while, depending on what Sib's going to do here. Looks like he's not going to contest the heavy, which is going to be massively beneficial for Chain here. He does tickle him a tad from that heavy area.
Chain slowing things down by the rail here. Again, items still pretty synced up. Only 2 seconds of a split. No one can really get control of this map because it's still up in the air. Fairly certain that, yes, 9, actually all items split. 9 majors for each player, 8 lights for each player. Testament to how close this is. 3-3 as well. Big rocket into the rail, can't quite hit it. Now the dance, the shoulder check dance around the corner, making sure they don't take damage. Oh, big tribal to the face by Sib there. He plays a little more defensive towards LG side of the map and flying through. One rocket before the Ghost Walk is popped, and he's going to moonwalk his way back, and Sib got past him. That one's an easy one, unfortunate for Chain. Sib takes the lead. Can he take a map control now? He hears a banana. It's going to be a rush for the heavy. Chain, will he die? Great defensive rocket, but he does go down, and this is it. Sib, finally with map control, opting to not add more of a delay, only about 6 seconds, but that could be enough for him to try and put a chokehold on this map and take it.
And as I mentioned in the pre-show, if Sib takes this 2-1, then he will overtake Sargib for that 14th place spot. So it's could be in prime position considering what we're in so far. He's done a lot of damage. He's made a good comeback as well. Got 4 minutes left. Trying to maintain this lead. It actually is going to increase it, if anything, now with a 3 frag lead. And he has the Ghost Walk. Good first rail and just making matters worse here for Chain. But at least Chain gives himself a little bit of leeway with that return rail.
Oh, doesn't hear him behind. Has to use the Ghost Walk, but it's still early. Luckily for him, the snail trail popped on the Mega. 4 seconds until it spawns. Sib has to be careful. There it is, and now it's free to grab. Can he make a mad dash over to the heavy to keep this control? A little bit of an LG tickle. Chain's too weak to contest. And so Sib maintains control of the map. Has a big stack in comparison, but Chain does get a little something from the LG side of the map. Opening rail won't be a miss. I like the wall jump attempt from Sib to try and get another angle, but Chain's already out of there.
long gone. This is where the slash can be beneficial, but Sib has been hitting every one of these drive-bys almost every time Chain is trying to get by. As now he's still pretty damn weak, looking to recover. Expects him to go for that light. And Heavy is still up, but Sib so wants to try and delay it a little bit more to throw that timing off away from Chain. Oh, catches him going up the jump pads. Good shots coming out from Chain as he pushes straight on in. And Sib takes himself out, if anything, and has got the rockets and trying to look for that trade. But again, almost gone, but only got the rockets to play with here as the Heavy's up in 10 and Chain was in a good position, but is rotating back around as Sib now trying to at least stay alive. But of course, with that LG, it's going to give him a lot of room to take that Heavy and the frag. Only a 1 frag deficit now. So he tries to hit that initial rail. Sadly, he doesn't, but 2 minutes left. Got plenty of time to tie this up into sudden death.
What was beautiful about that is Chain had timing on Heavy, but he also had the speed of the slash, so he was able to deny more time shards, making sure the Ghost Walk is on cooldown as long as possible. And those 2 seconds almost cost Sib right there. He still could go down, but he finally pops it and just plays like that. Little adjustments that Chain is making could make the difference here. Big shotgun up against the wall. Can't land. Shoddy Pippin almost lets down Chain. Needs to be careful here before this next Mega. I'm not sure he can really challenge, but Sib doesn't have weapons yet, so might be able to snag this, and that rocket will send him packing. So Chain able to take map control yet again, and also doing a good job of denying those vials. Sib has nowhere to go. The Tri-Bolt won't save him. Chain in the lead by 1, minute 20. Oh no, the float! Pop, pop.
Oh, dearie me. Doesn't hit the spawn rail, but he's done more than enough as it is. Minute 10 left remaining, but Sib wants to overtake Psychic on this leaderboard. He needs to win this map. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. With a minute left remaining, he's pinning him down on that mega jump pad, going down into the shoddy.
Why,
and actually he cleans him
Chain?
up with a shoddy, considering. That's absolute madness. So he does have a window here. Does take him a little bit, but amount of damage he just consumed from Chain's LG.
He got a little crazy. I know he wanted to push the advantage, but he didn't fully commit. He got stuck out in this weird in-between, and then he left Mega up behind him. But all things considered, still up 2 with 30 seconds. Chain should be able to win this one and put it away. Rocket's just missing all the pressure on Sib. Takes a direct rocket, no HP, but doesn't really have a choice. Has to try and grab what he can and just throw himself at Chain to try and tie this up and send us into sudden death.
It's not going to happen now. Sadly, 15 seconds left remaining with the mobility and speed Chain has. It's not going to let that happen at all. And Sib has done a tactical suicide, and that is going to be it, sadly. As it means that Chain has taken the series 2-0 as we go into this 3rd and final map.
So, unorthodox pick works out, but I need more numbers. I need more data to actually consider that viable pick.
Yeah,
in my
that's how
opinion,
see it.
I don't know. I don't think that's indicative of really anything, to be fair to both players. But Flea, I don't know. Maybe he's in chat. He could be like, well, yeah, okay. Whatever. That was a game. We definitely had a game right there. Chain came out on top. He did it.
Exactly. Thumbs up. Thumbs up for everyone.
Yes.
Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner in the Quake Pro League. They did great.
Congratulations, everyone. But
Why do I feel like you're making fun of NA right now, Lethal?
Just a little bit.
I need Wheat on here for backup.
That
This
is
is
true.
terrible.
Oh,
Getting
2v1?
bullied.
Okay, I see how it
Yeah,
is.
I'm getting bullied.
It's only a little bit of bullying. It's all right. Just a little bit. Could be worse.
Anyways, yeah, he made it work. It wasn't, again, unorthodox pick, but he made it work. Sib able to claw it back. Some interesting decisions from both players, to be completely honest. Especially that last one where I thought Chain completely threw, leaving up the Mega and jumping down into the sewers to try and take the frag. But it all worked out. What's life without risks, Lethal?
That is true. We love a risk, don't we? But some of the creativity was pretty good for Sib in some areas. But in the end, it is what it is. Chain managed to take down Sib 8-3. You can see the items, 17 items for Chain and 20 for Sib. So Sib actually having the majority of that item control, 214 less damage. We'll have to see how things go in map number 3. Pocket money now for Sib if he can take this map number 3.
Yeah. Money in your pocket's never bad. Map number 3 is going to be Sorlag versus Visor. and I think you were interested in seeing exactly what the sorbet can do on this map.
Yeah, it's debatable really to a certain degree. Obviously, we never see Sorlag and Blood Covenant. Anyway, we see Visor from time to time if all the slidey champions have been taken or anyone with a bit of mobility. But I do feel like the Visor is going to be a much better pick overall. Like, yeah, sure, he has the mobility and speed, not like the slash or anything else, but I can't see a way in, like, when he doesn't have item control. Like, what exactly he's going to do? His hitbox is quite large, the position is going to be quite tough as well. The piercing sight's just going to make matters even worse for the preparation of these items. It could be quite brutal here. I might be mistaken, but of course, there's a reason why we don't see Sorlag too often on Blood Covenant.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure there's some tricks up his sleeve, and I'm sure Chain wants to get this 3-0 and feel good as he closes out his regular season. And like you said, Visor, pretty good defensive play, able to pop that ability and get vision and know exactly where Sorlag's coming from. I know she could be a sneaky girl sometimes with her movement, sometimes just creeping up on the opponent, but we'll see. This is a pretty big map. Rail's going to be a big factor here, playing those distance lanes and Rail line of sights. So we'll see exactly what these players have in store. Chain looking to work on that 3-0 and move into QuakeCon with a dub.
Nothing like a good dump to set yourself straight going into the Quake World Championships, and that's exactly what he's already done. But a clean sweep will just be cherry on the cake as we start things off from Sib's perspective to see what he's going to be up to with this Sorlag. The piercing sight's already been used here for Chain, but decent LG there coming out, but Sib having to back away, picks up the Mega. It's delayed it quite heavily, but of course he has got the audio cue as he's floating pretty damn high, 40. Not the best of starts.
Flying dinosaurs. I've seen everything. Oh my God, more LG, didn't even get Rail, just gets pushed off position. He's already taken the resources off the map and Chain just drops down, makes quick work of it, doubles back, and Sib wants to go all in, and he wants to do a little bit of defrag. Why not? Does use the rocket jump to get the hell out of there. Is going to go up the jump pad for the Mega, and on time as well.
Yeah, defrag indeed, but not anymore. It's just been decimated around the LG entrance. Heavy up in 10. Let's get a little bit done with that heavy machine gun, but this is what I was contemplating and how Sib was going to bring this back with the Sorlag. It's going to be pretty tough. A lot of damage coming out from Chain, mind you, but doesn't want to risk going for that heavy as much as Sib would like to. But as he backs away, both players are on top of each other, just trying to make a decision on a gentleman's agreement, shall we say, on which item and who's going to go for what. But Sib is actually going to... I like this from Sib as well, looking to see if it can do a bit of damage towards the Mega. Doesn't get anything done, sadly, but Chain will have that piercing sight, which is going to be extremely crucial for him to decide on how he wants to try and reroute himself. Finds him. Decent rocket there. LG's going to follow up. Hasn't got any rail, sadly, but does have that heavy machine gun and has been putting it to good use.
Says grab a health bubble to stop the bleeding as the acid tick doing some damage, and Sib just rocket jumping around the map using that stack to add to the mobility of an already pretty quick Sorlag. Chain taking a rail and being forced to the lower part of the map. Heavy will go to Sib. Chain realizing that, grabs the Mega, wants to maintain at least control over that. Rail angle, maybe? Nope.
Chain still looking pretty damn good so far. Just trying to stay alive and just on the road to recovery. And look at this, Sib trying to dive on in, but now it's going to be Chain being a tad careful. It's Mega. It's going to be up, looking for that next light. But, oh, Sib was actually... But to catch it, actually would have done a lot more, but sadly for him, Chain was a little bit prepared, had the right weapon selection to kind of push him back a little bit. Coming in with the shotgun, but Sib stays alive, only on 5 HP trade. Yep, Chain's going to come straight in with that, and now it's going to make it 3-1 at the 3rd minute mark.
I'll take those trades all day as the vision is popped. Waiting on the heavy. Knows where the threats may appear from here. It's top armor taken, and Chain. Free rockets. Well, why not?
Yeah, look at the stack from Chain. Unreal. Heavy up in 15. Chain just trying to apply pressure in terms of his map positioning, just trying to be a bit of a nuisance here. Doesn't make the jump, but has the stack to contest this heavy anyhow as Making that fake rocket jump. Good stuff from Sib, but not going to be enough. Lovely rail from Chain to solidify that 4th frag.
Clipping the toenail of Sorlag there. Popping the vision. Is that going to hit? Nope. Close. Sib coming in like a wrecking ball here. Decent LG from Chain.
Yeah, this is still quite rough. You can see what I mean, though. Like, even though Sib has actually been quite creative with some of the pushes he's made, still not come out on top. So he's probably going to have to think of something else to create that way in, so to speak. He's at Pierce's side, but he may get cleaned up on that mega jump pad, which he has done. Now just going to give Sib a bit of breathing room now. He's just going to collect his thoughts and pick up a ton of that stack. Still has the spit to use, which he's going to use straight away, trying to assume that he's going to go for the health bubble. Good LG coming up for both players, but it will be Sib who comes out on top on that scuffle. So almost at the halfway point, and Sib now only a 1 frag, make that 2 frag deficit.
Chain does have sight up, and he will use it immediately while grabbing the mega. Split between the items is pretty good. These 2 rails gonna give Chain position to push, get the frag right before the heavy. There's the spit from Sib, a last-ditch effort to try and stay alive, and Chain just jumps right around it. He's able to grab the heavy, grab full map control, and maybe even some time shards if he waits at the banana, but no, he's gonna keep pushing the advantage here. Great rail onto Sib while he's grabbing rockets. And Chain could push this advantage for a couple more frags here if Sib's not careful. He's gonna drop down and take an easy rail from Chain. Nice little flick there. Adding more of a delay between the items. Huge gap, and Sib rocket jumping all over the place. Because why not? As we have a bit of a dino crisis on our hands right now, Lethal.
Good game, and just seeing it now. Chain just continuing to pile on that pressure, and I think what's been very important for Chain is his awareness to the audio of where Sorlag's going to come from, especially with those rocket jumps diving on in, but also the weapon selection, and just making sure he's keeping himself in a place where it's just going to be a choke point, which Sib has to go into. We saw it a couple of times around Mega, and he was able to have the right weapon selection with the LG or the rockets in order just to try and keep him back defensively and have an advantage in terms of the damage output, and it's been relentless ever since. Good try bot there coming up from Chain. It's going to be backing off once again. Mega's up in 5. You know that Chain's been enjoying his prep for his items quite early, but looking to see if he can add any more damage to the tally. Good rail, going to try and make it a second if he can, and he does. Beautiful rails again coming out from Chain.
We'll have vision up shortly as we're hitting the 7-minute mark here. Chain not really having to struggle on this one. Item control-wise, firmly in his grasp. 29 majors to the 6 of Sib. Sib trying to utilize that stack and mobility, but it's just not working out. A little bit of the gauntlet. Chain says, no thank you. Here's a double barrel. Enjoy that. It's free. Big rockets from Chain. Everything hurts.
Oh, yeah, this is getting a bit messy, so to speak. 2.5 minutes left, using that piece of sight.
Oh,
Finish him up
buddy.
with
Oh, dear.
with the vertical shotgun once again. Literally just making him matters worse, just adding a few more. Pinning him into the corner.
Yeah, giving him the Blair Witch.
Yeah,
Stare
I
to
was
the
just-
corner
I
and
was
just
like-
take that.
I was literally just
Beat
thinking
you
that as well.
Gotta be quicker, Lethal.
Yeah, unbelievable. I actually saw that clip. I don't know when it was. I went through the YouTube rabbit hole, and it was probably about a few days ago, and I saw that.
It's good stuff. Good
It
throwback.
is.
I love it.
It is.
I love it. And Chain's loving this. 14-3. He's going to take this set 3-0. It's going to be a confidence booster going into QuakeCon. 2 weeks away-ish. 2.5, maybe. Oh, buddy. Yep. And that is very much probably how everybody thought this game was going to go. I don't know.
It's just fantastic, isn't it? Oh, the direct. Sib's just having a field day. That's all it is.
Oh, yeah, at least somebody's having fun. So good for them.
Yeah, video games. It's all good.
Yeah, we're playing video games. Anyways, Shane with a fantastic performance on his last series of regulation. Good way to end his season, and now he's going to be moving into, I'm assuming, some sort of boot camp schedule. I'm not really sure what the players have set up personally, but there's going to be a lot of practice, a lot of scrimming, prepping for LAN. QuakeCon again live in Dallas, August 10th to the 13th.
Jesus
10th
Christ.
to the 12th, I think. Yeah, 10th, 12th, 13th. It doesn't really matter. Nothing matters. Dates don't matter.
10th to the
Scorelines
20th.
don't matter. Yeah. QuakeCon is every day.
Every day is QuakeCon.
Every day is QuakeCon. I am a professional that knows things. Oh, there it is. We got 2. Did anybody predict 2 on the series? No? Any takers? Okay.
Sorry, no. I lack of faith in you, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the most important thing is, again, the dub on the way out towards QuakeCon. That's going to be a big confidence boost for Chain. And it's important to remember that, you know, sometimes he just does things in this game that other players aren't doing. And that's really important. So, tricks of the trade, big air rockets, as that is it. Sib gets his.
Beautiful.
Sweet, sweet revenge.
It certainly was a big dub there, but in terms of series scoreline, it is going to be 3-0 for Chain. Going to give him a nice bit of a confidence booster going into the Quake World Championships as well. And this is the Chain we wanted to see, you know, champion picks aside, even though he did make the slash work on Awoken, but need to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, a little bit more of that. But yeah, gearing up again, going into the LAN finals. This is kind of how you want to be playing. You want to be firing on all cylinders. Chain looking pretty good. Good item control, good mobility. The champ picks, a little bit weird. Again, Awoken slash, never really seen that before, but he made it viable. He made it work. And you're going to have to be kind of, you know, able to adapt on LAN, because when you get into the BO3s, BO5s, that champ pool is going to have to be a little deeper. You might have to get some weird picks on some maps. So I'm kind of glad that he got it out of the way, and hopefully during practice a lot of the players will try and get a little bit weirder with it, because you never know. LAN, again, it's going to be an endurance match for most of these players, especially if you have to go through groups, which Chain and Sib are going to have to do. First day, all group play, second and third brackets. But that's it. Chain put a stamp on it, 18-3 on map number 3, taking the set 3-0 overall over Sib. And that is it for our 4th series of the day as we take a look at the map and score breakdown. And I am a little sad to say this, but we only have 1 set left for today, and then that's it.
I know, 18 weeks gone just like that, and we've only got 1 series left to go. Pretty unreal. It's been emotional.
Yeah, it's going to be Rafa versus Nosfa. We're going to get Wheat in here. This is going to be the last set for regulation, so don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be bringing you that shortly. See you in a bit.